All right, everyone, Saib here. This is more of a video on less on religion this time. I know, surprise, but this is a philosophical channel, and the reason why I talk about religion a lot, even though this video won't be, is that I do find that religion can be philosophical at a lot of times, especially with interpretations. But anyways, so this video is about communism and why it will always fail, or rather, why it never works. And as someone who's gone to college and I've done the taken the sociology courses, yes, I know the difference between capitalism, socialism, and communism. So let's get that straight. I'm not confusing those three with each other. The reason why I do see a lot of people that say, "Oh, communism has never been able to fully take place," right? And that is true in a sense where, yes, countries like China and Russia, obviously, they are not fully communist in the sense that, let's say, that people advocate for and do believe that is true. And true in the sense that true communism is the best thing to that could take over any sort of society. And to be honest, I would say that no. Communism is great in the sense that it's idealistic. So communism only works if everyone is treated as equal and everything's shared, and that's wonderful. And honestly, hot take, I do believe that that is actually really, really that would be uh, one of the best, if not the best, sort of system. Now, I love capitalism. I'm not communist by any means, and I don't advocate for communism because now I'm getting to the point because humans cannot fulfill communism. There is no world in which we will all truly be able to fully advocate and reinforce true communism, which is that everyone's treated equal, everyone gets equal share. There is no sort of inferior or superior, so on and so forth. Everything that communism advocates for, because there will always be someone who is either narcissistic, or they take advantage, or they turn communism into the oligarchy or dictatorship or authoritarian, sort of head figure as we've seen in history. There is no way that communism would ever truly work. And that's what really gets me riled up, is when you see these people, especially more college students that I notice. And even when I was attending college, they would also say, spew out the same things. Oh, true communism has never been really done, or it's not done the way that it's supposed to. And that's the point. It's never going to happen. Why do you think in all of history that communism doesn't exist in the way that it should? Because it can't. There's no way in the world, nor in history, that it has ever worked out. And the reason for that is because there's always going to be people that want more, who are greedy, or who just simply love making other people's lives miserable. And so that is why communism would never work. Okay, I could keep the video short, and I will actually try to keep this short. And the other reason why it won't ever work is because, okay, let's say somehow miraculously it works, okay? And it works around the globe. We won't even say like in a little region, in a little isolated, because maybe it would work in a little tiny isolated region, but it won't work regionally. But let's just say for the sake of it, right? Okay, somehow humanity has made it so everyone is now truly, working together and is a communist. Okay, the world has become a communist sort of utopia. Okay, that works for a little bit, because guess what? The next generation will not be able to sustain it. They will. We've seen this through history. If you know, for example, I know this is different from communism, but old money versus new money. And in case you don't know, old money refers to families that have had riches throughout history, right? So think of like the Rockefellers, the sort of Queen Elizabeth and her family, like Prince Andrew and the such. They are old money, where they continuously have money throughout the generations. New money is something like you and me, right? If I get rich tomorrow, I would be considered new money because I didn't inherit that richness. I just either earned it or somehow got lucky, right? Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because, as we've seen, new money, if you don't know, statistically, new money families, within the next generation, their family becomes broke again. Why? Because their sons, daughters, whatever you want to say, they don't inherit the same sort of qualities. They don't, have that same either motivation or sort of principles. And that would happen with communism. Even if the whole world advocated and truly reinforced communism and truly lived in a utopia, the next generation would completely destroy that, or the next generation, or the next generation, or it would slowly deteriorate. And we've seen this even with empires, even with capitalism. I'm not saying capitalism is perfect, but we've seen this even with, whatever empire you want to state. Every single one falls. Why is that? Why is there no single empire that has lasted from the dawn of time till now? Because it can't. Because there's always going to be a new generation that either overthrows or wants something new or advocates or something. There's always going to be something that happens. And that's my final conclusion. I mean, feel free to disagree, but history proves me right, as well as it's too idealistic. In an ideal world, maybe communism would be the best thing ever, right? In a utopian world, or I don't know. But either way, even if we did have communism, there would still probably, like, in order to make it work in today's world, you would probably need something like a head figure that has overwhelming power, say God or AI or whatever. Then, yes, I would say that it probably could work because they have the power to enforce it, to make everything, equal. But until then, if we're just relying on humanity alone, it's never going to work, no matter what you say or do or advocate. So please don't, advocate for communism and keep going to campus or keep telling people, oh, we need to have communism. It's the best thing that will ever happen. No, it won't. It's going to fail, as everything will fail with humanity. Anyways, thanks y'all. Got a little heated. Sorry about that. But it is just one of those topics that gets annoying after a while. Anyways, thanks y'all. See y'all. Bye.